anymore.
I like it.
I believe.
I like this meeting much better than the last one.
I believe.
Wow. Not bad, man.
See.
Can everyone hear me okay?
I can hear you.
Yeah.
Good. I can hear you too. That's amazing. Tech
Look at
working. Yeah.
All right. Let's jam out to some Pearl
I'm
Jam.
just going to start this episode by saying, for the first time ever, it's probably hotter here than it is with you, Neil.
Really?
It is. So we're in the middle of a heat wave. It's been the hot. What would it be in Fahrenheit? I need to look it up. Hold on.
I love that we tend to start all of our podcasts
with the weather.
With the weather.
Well, because we live
some weather
in three different parts of the world, so it's a little fun. It's all fun.
It's 91.4 here today.
Oh, you've got me beat by 1.4. It's I don't think you can see it.
We're in the lower
90.
80s.
It's a win for the UK.
We're in the lower 80s finally, but last week was triple digits here in Ohio. It was brutal.
Yeah, it is. The weather's gone crazy. I think I like the fact we start every podcast episode with the weather update.
With the weather, yeah.
That's how it should be.
It's usually you guys making fun of me.
It's so hot. I now have a fan right here.
I have a fan in my studio constantly because even during the wintertime, air doesn't move much down here. So it just kind of gets a little stagnant. So not that people wanted to know that.
I think they did. Want to. This is the bit where we just talk nonsense, isn't it? So this is exactly what's needed.
This is exactly what this podcast is about. It's a bunch of nonsense.
Absolutely.
And with that, let's continue talking about more nonsense, shall we?
Okay. That sounds good to me.
Let's go.
Hi, and welcome to Sound Discussion. Each episode, we discuss a music topic which we have all had first-hand experience with. These will be anything from getting started, recording, playing live, mixing, mastering, and everything in between. Most episodes, we will have a special guest to bring their professional experience to the discussion. So, let's get started.
What do we want to talk about today? I threw a hand grenade into the Nashville Cats group chat this morning. So that
you sure did, man.
Don't get me started.
I haven't watched that video, but I saw it come across my feed and people were talking about it. So I knew what you were talking about.
What happened?
So Rick Beato, I don't know if you watch him on YouTube.
I do.
So he basically, there's a band on Spotify who have got 400,000 monthly listeners who it looks like are AI and are not real. And he actually took the song. So he took a Led Zeppelin song, put it into Logic, and then used Logic's AI bit to break out the bass, the drums, the vocals, which, by the way, I mean, it's phenomenal how good that is.
I know. I've heard clips, and I'm blown away.
It's incredible.
Like, damn, man.
And then he did a Sabrina Carpenter song just because he wanted to see how well it worked. And then he did the AI song, and it couldn't deconstruct the AI song properly or as well, because it isn't individual tracks that have gone into making it up. It's AI that's made up the whole thing. But, and here's my point, nobody will care, because if that's how good it is now, in 5 years' time, you won't be able to tell the difference.
But so why would the deconstruction of the song not work as well because it's AI versus a not AI song? At the end of the day, it's a stereo track, and there's instrumental elements that make up that stereo track. Why does it matter where they came from? Because
I think what's happened is with the properly recorded version, we've got into this straight away, haven't we?
Let's do it. Let's
just fly into this. I think with the musically recorded version, they are individual tracks that go together to make the whole thing. With the AI created version, it is simply creating a single flat output that sounds how it's supposed to sound, but the bass part is not a bass part that is then mixed with the drums and everything else to go through it. It is just the tonal shape of what a bass part looks like, and there are artifacts in it that you can't hear when you listen to the whole track, but if you try and deconstruct it, it becomes more apparent. But the point I was making in the chat this morning is, as we all know, the end listener doesn't care how you got there. They don't care what EQ you used, what guitar pickups you had in, where it was recorded, who mixed it, who mastered it. They just listen to it and go, that's a good song.
I think it depends on the audience, though.
But
because, like, if it's just for generic music reproduction, like if you're using it on a video or something, or if you're using it like as a tool, or just some party music here for a scene or something like that, I could see AI created music being used for something like that. For emotional, like, gripping human experience that is art, I don't care what AI does. I want to know that somebody on the other end created that, or performed that.
And my point that I was making this morning is, I totally get that, Neil. And as a musician, I'm in the same boat. We are the 5%. We are not the 95% who are listening to it while scrolling on TikTok. And
right.
So, but that means, my point was, so even the music on TikTok today, or on a TV advert, or on anything, any music you hear, there's been someone's recorded it, someone's mixed it, it's been mastered, and it's put out there. 10 years from now, those jobs won't exist.
No, they won't.
Because the AI, the bottom line here is, the record company, if they can, remembering they own all the master tracks for all the music at the minute, or most of them, they've got all the original master tracking. So they can put all of that into an AI that now has perfect original tracked material to learn from. And then they can say to AI, I need a new band to release. They're a new rock band. They're supposed to be grungy and a bit like Nirvana, but not Nirvana. And it's got to be new for 2026. Go. It creates an album. Record companies sell the album. They make all the money for no outlay. That is exactly what record companies will do moving forward.
And that's what they've always kind of done, though. Like look at the rock music in the early 2000s. Like it is very formulaic. It's exactly what they did. Instead of AI, they found a formula for rock music from the 90s, and they're like, oh, we're gonna continue that, but we're gonna make it perfect. We're gonna have this formula, and that's why it's just 2000s rock kind of sounds.
But the difference there is they still had to go into a studio, have someone
absolutely.
have someone mix it,
like
have someone master. Yeah, this is next level.
My point is it's the next evolution of that same, like, what is the formula for producing music that we don't have to have people do it?
Exactly. And that's what the record company will do.
Hang on, I want to go back to something, because this is kind of like breaking my brain a little bit.
Yeah.
So the AI was not able to deconstruct the 2-track. Because I'm stuck on this, man. This is friggin' wild.
But no, that's not fair. It did. It absolutely did. It broke it down into bass, drums, vocals,
It
guitars.
did.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought
but you could hear that it hadn't done it nearly as well as on the tracks that were actually recorded and mixed by people in a studio, etc., etc.
Is that because there's more definition between the tracks?
I think, I think it just struggles because it's a bit like, it'd be a bit like creating a dish of food where you've cooked the onion and the garlic, you've added the stuff in, you've let it cook for 4 hours and it's blah, 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 or just adding a flavor bomb into something and going, well, it's basically the same.
Right. It's you're incorporating a dash of spice on top of the dish, as opposed to letting that element cook.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think the rest of the ingredients. And now I'm really hungry.
Sorry about that. I've ruined that.
I'm thinking about like chili or something now.
Yeah, and for me, that the point I was making in the chat this morning, and hello to all the Nashville cats who are no doubt listening. The bit I was trying to make is the genie's now out of the bottle. That if you go and listen to the band on Spotify that are allegedly AI, forget I've told you they're allegedly AI, you'll go, yeah, they're a pretty mediocre Americana band. Now, at the minute, they are a pretty mediocre Americana band. I wouldn't go out and say, well, these are the next big thing, but
I was listening to a sort of morning headline podcast from a guy based out of Columbus that I like to listen to. And he talks about all kinds of stuff, but music is sort of his thing. And this came up in his sort of headline wrap up. And two things that I didn't know about this is that they released an album or two albums in the last like 2 weeks, or there's one on the way, and they just released an album 2 weeks ago. Right. Yeah. So like, obviously this is not, I mean, unless there's a large cache of songs that a real live band has, this isn't something that a real band would do, right? They wouldn't release 2 albums in 2 weeks, unless they were some giant band and,
massive.
Their fans demanded it, right? Like no indie band is going to release 2 albums in 2 weeks. Hell, you wouldn't release 2 songs in 2 weeks sometimes. And the other is the sort of like close naming of songs that are like the real thing. So the one example that he gave was Dust on the Wind versus Dust in the Wind. Yeah. And that you would find that song by accident, thus generating more plays. It's sort of like spoofing or misspelling a website URL so that you end up going to, some other website as opposed to the one you intended to. It's kind of like that. It's like mistaken commerce or some shit. I don't know what the actual term of that is, but yeah, I thought that was really interesting and makes the sort of like deviance of this effort sort of stand out more, because it's more so like somebody's trying to trick you into thinking that you found the band you're looking for.
Yeah.
Right. But you haven't. Right. And so they're going through all this effort to make it so lifelike and just sort of indistinguishable from real life, even down to the naming of the songs, so that if you mistype a song name, you land on them versus the song you were intending to find. And it all feels intentionally devious.
Yeah. So Bob in the chat sort of brought up the fact that, is it fraud? There's a picture of a band, 4 people in a band, and if it's AI and they haven't said it's AI, then is that fraudulent? Is that and I mean, Milli Vanilli were fraudulent and they didn't get charged with fraud. So I think if they can get away with it, pretty much anyone can. But if anyone wants to check them out, or Neil, they're called the Velvet Sundown.
The Velvet Sundown.
Yeah. And they've now got 554,000 monthly listeners. I'm going to try and bring it up. Hold on. So you can have a look, Neil. 4, 2, 5. I can't type today, by the way. It's I'm having finger trouble. Let's have a look.
I'm trying to pull up Spotify.
Good old Spotify. What do I want to play? I want to play the Velvet Sundown. How about you get rid of your goddamn cookie request and just the Velvet Sundown. Oh, top result, Dust on the Wind. There it is. But what I'd really like to do is go to the artist so you can see their artist page. There it is.
Yeah, it looks completely AI.
Even the picture of them.
Even the picture of them, it looks fake.
Yeah. It does look fake because it looks like it's from 1974. But they've now had 634,000 monthly listeners.
See, that's insane.
That is where we now are, right? So if 634,000 people are happy to go, I just like the songs. I don't. But
it also could be that like somehow like they probably paid for that song to be on some playlists and stuff.
Well, what if? Here we go. Conspiracy theory.
Okay.
What if they're created? What if they have been created by Spotify?
Oh, no doubt. Why not? Because then Spotify would get all the money.
Ta-da!
Yeah, they wouldn't have to share it with anyone. Spotify and other streaming services have all the incentive to create their own bands, right? It'd be no different than, Costco selling Kirkland brand toilet paper versus the other guys.
Yep.
they're going to create their own brand so that they keep all that money as opposed to having to pay
Exactly.
it out to somebody else. So
Exactly.
absolutely 1,000%.
So now the way Spotify's model works is you take all of the subscriptions from everybody, you then work out who's been streamed the most and you pay them a percentage, and then who's been streamed next and you pay them a percent. So if Spotify could get their own AI band to be in the top 5 most streamed artists that month, they will get top 5 money back from the subscriptions. So it's a perfect model.
I don't know what would happen if
So-
that actually happened.
I have kind of an idea.
Should we start
And
our
they-
own AI band?
Yeah.
There we go.
No.
That's
So as a teacher, I don't teach English. I teach math, but there is this huge uproar about AI and kids using AI and all that
Yeah.
for their term papers and things like that. But now there are AI checkers where
Yeah.
you can take a kid's paper and throw it through a AI checker, and it'll tell you, hey, this is very likely AI. It's the AI telling you that it's created by AI.
Yeah.
And I feel like there needs to be a law somewhere or something that says any content that is a video, visual, audio needs to also state that it was created with AI. Just like
Agreed.
the explicit content stickers that they would
Yep.
put on freaking on CDs and if it's got explicit content, it needs to be be said. Like even this podcast, what the fuck, right?
well,
Explicit
there goes our E right there.
There's
on
the
today's
E right
title.
there.
Nice.
What the fuck? But what I'm saying is, like, there's a way that they can tag it and they can
Yeah.
figure it out. We would have to get AI to figure out if it's AI. I'm not sure all the logistics for that, but
YouTube requires you to check a box that says, any part of this visual or audio is generated by AI.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming they're not counting music from their library, because that's not AI. It might be AI.
Wow.
But there is a box that you have to check.
Yeah.
That states that none of this content is AI generated. So I'm curious. I don't know what it looks like if you do check that box. What shows up on the video? That the banner or somewhere that it states that it's AI. I'd be curious to find out. B, if this band, whatever their name is, has created YouTube videos for their music, whether it's an audiogram or an actual music video, if they've checked that box, and if that warning, that label is there that says that this is AI generated content. Because there should be some sort of I don't know that law is the right thing, but see, they're a verified artist. So how did that
It's
happen?
another good question.
How are they a verified artist if it's AI? Who verified it? The only way that would happen is if Spotify owned it.
Well, no, because
it's one person behind it, but they just
because it's easy enough to become I'm a verified artist on Spotify.
Yeah,
Oh, you are? I'm not. There
Yeah,
you go.
I think I am.
So that's not that complicated to do.
Oh, okay. I thought
Yeah,
that
no,
was
I
a
get
lot
it.
more
Yeah.
complicated
I
to
mean,
do.
I am. There you
Am
go.
I a verified artist?
I'll stop presenting. We don't need to see that. Stop presenting.
Oh, hey, I am a verified artist.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that the other bit. So I totally agree with Neil. I think it should be legally binding that you have to state if AI have done it. I would go one step further and say anything AI generated is not copyrightable because you haven't come up with it.
Well, so that is something
Oh.
that's interesting. So there is AI platforms that you can make music on. I forget what they're called.
Well, that's where
But-
this was probably done.
Yeah, possibly. You can generate music on those, and I was looking into it because I was curious. Not that I was generating AI generated music, but I was curious. So I took a look at it, and there's obviously a free tier, and then there are paid tiers. And the free tier, you cannot claim any kind of copyright on that. The platform owns whatever you create.
The platform owns it.
The platform owns whatever you create.
And
on the
nobody
free
should
tier.
own it. It's been created by a
But
machine.
on the paid tiers, you can claim that owner. You do get that ownership, right?
And that's
along
the
with
bit I
all
think,
the other stuff that you don't get on the free tier. So
yeah, and that's the
I
bit
mean,
think
they
shouldn't be allowed.
are thinking about that.
The platforms are, yeah, but as a music consumer sort of protection thing, yeah, the platform keeps the copyright license, but you shouldn't be able to copyright something where you've gone, I want an upbeat jingly tune a bit like the Beatles crossed with the Police in a 4/4 style at 120 beats per minute, and it goes, yeah, there you go. You can't copyright that, surely.
Yeah, that is, yeah, you can't.
But anyway, there we go.
But I'm sure someone will find a way to do it. Right?
Absolute rant over.
Where there is a boundary, someone is working to push it.
Yeah, and that was I saw that this morning. I thought, well, as I say, my initial thought is genie's out the bottle now, because this is the worst it's going to be. It will only get better, and in 10 years' time, record companies will have fully embraced it because it's free. It's free to them now.
Yeah,
and everything they sell, all the streams. And then my point is, what will live music look like in 20 years' time?
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. Like, yeah, they may take advantage of it just like that. But I feel like if there is a law, like what Nate was saying, like if there was a law that requires them to explicitly say this, like we as consumers, like there's going to be that audience that doesn't care, but they're not going to ever get us.
But
they're never going to have.
I agree.
So if there will still be a market for real music written and performed by real people, and live music is alive and well. I know there's a huge debate about backing tracks, using backing tracks live, and honestly, it doesn't matter to me. If you're using backing tracks to enhance your performance, that's all you.
Yeah, that was a big thing in the 2000s.
It's still,
is it still a big deal?
Well, yeah, because a lot of bands now are bringing the equipment to do it, and it's now easier to download like karaoke versions where you can split the tracks and you can choose which tracks you want. And then you've got a click in your ear and you can play to the songs. And some people are like, well, that's just karaoke. Well, if you're still playing a guitar and if you're still playing instruments, if you're just missing an instrument and it's just there to replace, maybe a keyboard part or a bass part that you don't have that musician there. Well, I don't see a damn problem with that.
Yeah. How is that any different than, say, Neil, you creating a backing band and then going to the local brewery like you do to play a show, and you've got a drummer and a bass player on your laptop playing a pre-recorded track, right? You're not like, it's not like AI, right? It's a pre-recorded track. You've created it, you've recorded it, you've programmed it into a sequence for your show, and then you're standing up in front of the microphone playing guitar and singing. How is that that's not a problem?
No, it's just an enhancement of what you're doing live. I mean, that's to me. See, that's my argument, and a lot of people they're like, oh, it's still fake, and I'm like, it's not.
Yeah, but if that person created that music,
because that's not a
even though those people aren't there, like what that. Yeah, okay, maybe that's an unpopular opinion in some groups, but I think that for most people who are in this industry, that's a widely accepted thing. I mean, and arena size bands have
always,
backing tracks of some kind in some way, drum replacement or not replacement, but reinforcement and things like that, or additional elements that obviously would be really tough to reproduce live on stage. So you trigger a drummer has a trigger pad a lot of times next to them, and they trigger elements that aren't percussion based. They might be other sounds that provide reinforcement to the song, but who cares? Whether somebody presses a button or performs whatever that sound is.
My
why is that even a
percussionist,
thing?
My percussionist, he plays a cajon that's digital, and it produces digital sounds. And so, hey, that's fake too. But I will say that if you are if you are using backing tracks and you are just singing, that might be considered karaoke like.
Yeah, I think most people,
If
especially
you got all of the arrangement.
all of the band and it's just you singing, then you are a karaoke singer. Yeah, you are. I mean, that's what you're doing. But I think, you know, I'm going to see Oasis on Friday, first night of their
Nice
tour.
opening night.
Opening night, yeah, in Cardiff. It's probably the only night they're still talking to each other, so it's probably the best night to see.
Yeah, right, get in early.
Get in early because it could be downhill from there. And I'm pretty sure that there'll be some musical support that's not just Noel, a bass player, Liam, and the drummer on stage. I'm fairly certain they
Why
will
not?
have, because I don't think general public care. I think where it got out of control is where you had basically everybody on stage miming to backing tracks. I think that's where people then feel it's disingenuous. But yeah, I think everybody does it. Don't they?
Okay,
You've got
so yeah,
keyboard part and no keyboard player, and
take
Yeah.
the instance of, say, you know, NSYNC or the Backstreet Boys performing on stage. There's, in a lot of cases, no band.
there's no band.
There's no band. It's a bunch of people singing and dancing on stage in tightly choreographed fashion.
Yeah, and not only that, they didn't even know the original
And people
band.
go fucking
That was
nuts.
huge back in the 80s. That was
Yeah.
huge back in the
80s.
80s, 90s.
Thank you.
2000s, whatever.
Yeah.
Hey, New Kids on the Block?
New Kids on the Block, yeah. But still, like, people
Yeah.
lost their minds at those shows, and rightfully so, because they were there to see the people singing. They didn't care what music was being played. They were there to see them sing and to hear
Yeah.
that and to be part of that experience. The music itself, the backing band that was being played off of what I would guess is a, you know, ADAT machine. Didn't matter. Who cared?
No, that's it.
They were
You went
they were
there.
there to see the Backstreet Boys or NSYNC or whomever.
Yeah.
And so we've gotten pretty far off of our original topic, but that's all right. We've meandered a little bit.
We do our usual meandering.
Okay, so I think we've beaten this one to death. So
Yeah.
AI, I mean, and by the time this episode comes out, who knows what else has developed with this Velvet Sundown band. This will
Yeah.
be interesting to watch.
Court case pending.
Yeah, when this episode comes out at the end of July. All right, so what else is new with you guys? We're in the middle of the summer.
We are.
It's hot everywhere, pretty much, except for maybe the folks on the other side of the equator, down under. If we have any Australian listeners,
Adam.
happy winter. Yes, Adam, happy winter. How's your guys' summer been going? What are you up to?
I've been
Well,
trying to sell my house.
Oh.
You're trying to sell your house.
Yes, and I'm going to be moving hopefully soon. I don't know. I got to find a buyer. for
Have
the
you
house.
Have you packed up your studio and
Nope,
Throw it away?
nothing's packed up until we have at least some offers. The market is so stagnant right now. It's so
really in Cleveland? It is still pretty hot. I mean, it has slowed down a little bit, but houses in Cleveland are going fast and well over asking.
See, well, in the Tampa Bay area, there's an overabundance of houses, and houses are sitting on the market for hundreds of days. And they're not selling. And so I'm trying to do one of those things where I sell and buy a house at the same time. So I need some people to make an offer on my house.
Well, there you go, folks. If you want to live in Tampa, I know a house that's available.
Yeah.
You know,
Small
there's at least one.
Small commission charge, isn't it, Nate?
Yeah,
That's how,
exactly.
that's how realtors work in America. It's only a
Yeah.
small commission charge.
Only a small commission charge.
Yeah. Well, I was in Italy last week, so I've had a lovely part of my summer.
How was that?
Very beautiful. I was in Venice and Florence. So
I would love to go to Venice sometime. That sounds wonderful.
it's very
Italy in general. I would
Yeah.
love to go. Just
Venice is like nowhere else on the planet. It's very special. It's incredibly expensive, but it is, it's lovely. It's very, very nice. And in Florence, if you like paintings of the Virgin Mary holding a baby with some people or animals looking at her. There's an abundance of them.
Okay.
Some of them well
Interesting.
painted, some of them not so much, but all Renaissance masters apparently.
So
Botticelli, very good. There
so
you
the so the food. Let's do a quick
go.
little
Food. Yeah.
talk about food because I'm dying to know. Like I
hungry.
love.
Dude, somebody needs to get Nate some
Yeah,
food.
get Nate some dinner.
He was talking about chili earlier.
Yeah.
I love
he's
pizza.
freaking hungry.
I love pizza so much. And you know, there's all
I
types.
like pizza.
There's all types of different pizza, but man, that real Italian. What is that word that I'm trying to think of? There's a place in the States. There's 3 locations, one in Chicago, one in Las Vegas, and one in New York, called Italy. It was started by Mario Batali, who I don't think owns it anymore. He got swept up in the whole Me Too thing back in the early 2000s or something, or the 2010s. Anyway, it's some of the best pizza I've ever had in my life. I think that it is as close to actually having Neapolitan style pizza in Italy. Like that is as good as it gets here in the States. I might be wrong. Please feel free to, correct me if I'm wrong. If there's a place I should try out, I'd love to hear about it. But that is my experience, and that's what I'm working on or working with. So yeah, tell us about your pizza, please.
So I'll start this conversation by saying I'm not really a fan of pizza. Really not bothered.
Damn it, man! Come on.
I don't get it. I mean, it's bread and
Really?
cheese and tomato. However, pizza.
You don't get it. It's bread and cheese.
It's all right. The food in Italy is amazing.
Oh, I'm sure.
So yeah,
it is.
absolutely.
Pasta.
Superb.
Okay, pasta. I'm sure you have some pasta.
Yeah, lots of pasta. I mean, if you ever go to Florence, you have a Florentine steak, where that is, it's about that thick. It's about, I don't know, what would that be? 2.5 inches thick. We had
Yeah,
one
That's
point
a thick cut of meat.
ours was 1.4 kilos of steak. What do you want that in? Pounds? Ounces?
Ounces.
Hold on.
I
I've
mean,
no idea.
Something like that would probably be like a
1.4
24-ounce steak.
in ounces. That is 49-ounce steak.
Holy cow.
That's huge.
49.3.
And did you eat that all by yourself?
I know, myself and my wife had it between us. And it's absolutely incredible.
Did you have like the fucking meat sweats or
What?
something?
Yeah.
So it is on the bone. It is on the bone. So some of that weight
so
is
the
the
so-
bone.
okay,
bone
so
is
some of it
the
is-
bone is
Yeah.
10 ounces. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Good
but it's
Lord.
absolutely incredible. The wine
What was
really
it?
good.
What was it cooked to? Medium? Rare?
No, rare. They basically say it's rare, and if you ask for anything else, you're wrong. So,
Amen.
I mean, the middle was raw virtually.
Wow.
So, I mean, it was absolutely incredible. It
See,
was
that
really
is,
good.
that is not my thing. I don't get excited by steak.
I mean, you only have to
Maybe I've
do
just
that
never
once.
had a good one.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to do
Not
it.
even like a good ribeye that's like medium rare, just melt in your mouth, delicious.
Maybe I haven't had that. I don't know.
But I mean, most of the time when we were there, we had sort of pasta or fish, especially in Venice, lots of fish, because it was lovely. The ice cream, gelato, molto bene, very good, very lovely. And
Oh yeah, the gelato. Oh man,
gelato's good.
that is
Wine, good wine.
Yeah.
Great Negronis.
Hmm.
I mean, what more do you want? They did some
Damn it.
culture stuff as well, but
I'm really hungry.
I want to go back now. Although when we were there last week, so last week it would have been about 92 degrees when we were there, and this week it has gone through the roof. I think Florence was
I've
for you,
heard
probably
that-
95, something like that, 96.
I've heard that Spain and
Yeah.
Yeah, but
they're
what's the
hitting some real
humidity?
high temperatures.
Uh,
What's the humidity?
It would be quite high. It
Okay,
would be quite high.
so now you feel my pain.
Yeah. I'll tell you what I was going to do. So Spain this week. Let me just do this very quickly. That I can't work a phone. Please talk amongst yourselves. Nothing to see here.
Ben
I
is
need to
having
type-
some technology troubles, I guess. All right. That's fine.
So Madrid today was 114.8 degrees Fahrenheit.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, that's hot.
But is that the heat index? What is the actual temperature?
That's what they just say on the weather. It was 46 degrees centigrade.
Yeah, I heard that on the news this morning.
And that's 114.8
Mid-40s
Fahrenheit.
or upper 40s. That's
Abs-
insane.
That's burning. That is so hot.
That's super dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, I've had that when we were on holiday in Egypt. It was 45 degrees one day, but there's no humidity. It's absolutely dry. So it's
yeah, that feels different.
Yeah,
That's different.
Yeah, totally.
we're back on weather. We've done a full circle.
It's not the heat, it's the humidity that'll kill you.
All right, so let's talk about our actual musical endeavors here. So Ben, how's mastering going for you this summer? I know that you sent out a message earlier that you're putting a pause on working on drumming projects.
Yeah.
So you're still mastering though, right? How's that going?
Absolutely. Yeah, still mastering. So yeah, drumming projects, I just got to the point where I did very few of them. And because I did very few of them, I was out of practice on tracking them, not playing drums, which I've done forever. But every time I fired up Cubase, I was like, oh, how does this work? Which button is that? And I just got to the point where I was only doing very, very few, and they were taking a normally long time to actually do. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to park this for the minute and really sort of double down and focus on mastering. Mastering's great. I've got projects lined up for the next 4 weeks, so that's really good. And hopefully an album coming up from a new client soon. They've reached out and we're sort of early in conversations, so always love it when a new client comes along. It's always good fun, especially hearing what you get, because you start that journey again. I always think with new clients. Existing clients, they know what file format you want, they know what the do's and don'ts of what, no limiting on your mix bus when you export, but you can use compressors, and I don't care how loud it is as long as it doesn't clip. And we do all of this conversation, and existing clients know that. I always quite like that first conversation with a new client when they go, okay, I want you to master this. And it's like, okay, so where are you in the journey? What have you got? What have your output? And then you just have that exciting moment of you hit play, and it could, who knows, you might be listening to the next Coldplay and Ed Sheeran before anyone else has heard it, kind of.
Are you getting questions from clients about the final loudness of those tracks, like how loud they want them, or ideally how loud they would want their tracks to be, or do they just get what you give them?
No, it comes up all the time. I think clients I've worked with a lot tend to trust me now on how loud it should be. And that's not true. It's not how loud it should be. That's wrong. It's how loud I hear it sounding best.
Okay.
Because, I mean, with the best will in the world, a couple of dB here or there in loudness, it's not going to make that much difference. What I'm listening for is at what point when I've turned it up do I start hearing that the dynamic range is going, right? Because if you said to me, oh, this one's mastered to minus 14 dB and this one's minus 12, I would say, well, that's great. How much was the limiter working? And if you go, oh, well, it was even at minus 12, it was only just knocking the tops off. Well, it's not really doing a lot then, is it? So it doesn't actually matter. Minus 14, minus 12, you haven't reduced the dynamic range at all. And it's very much, but if you went to minus 6, you're absolutely flattening it. So it is that conversation. I still have that quite a lot. I still have it. I have it with all new clients. I will send them it back. And sometimes they come back to me and say, oh, it didn't sound very loud in my car. Can you make it louder? And it's like, well, yeah, that's not quite how the world works, but I can. What are you wanting to do with the file? Oh, I'm wanting to put it on Spotify. Okay, then you don't need to make it louder because there's no benefit, because Spotify will turn it down if it's too loud.
But are you working with singles or EP/albums? Because then that does change the sort of loudness factor, right?
Yeah. So most of the time it's singles or EPs.
Okay.
Occasionally, I mean, doing an album is great. I absolutely love doing an album because it's doing a single is fine. You're making it sound the best that single can sound, but you don't have to take into account anything outside of that single.
Right.
Doing an album, there has to be an EQ balance across the whole. Now, if most of the people I work with have recorded everything themselves, home musicians, that sort of thing. So the likelihood is it's the same guitar and the same mic in the same room using the same drum plugins. So there is a tonal consistency across everything they do. But occasionally I get work in from people who have recorded it at 3 different studios. And the fun bit for me is making that sound right across everything. So
Yeah.
but yeah,
Well, I think
loudness is still a question.
I think about the days when I would, before I was into this side of music production, I was a music fan, and I would break open a new CD from an artist, and I'd look at, I'd read the liner notes, and you see the if they included this information, tracks 1, 2, and 3, drums recorded here, 4, 5, and 6, drums recorded here, and you see this sort of like mishmash of studios. It's, it wasn't a thing that I really thought about very much then, but I think about it now, and some of my favorite records were recorded across probably half a dozen different spaces.
Yeah.
And you think about home musicians recording everything in their basement or their bedroom studio or whatever they have set up, and it's the same mic, it's the same guitar, the same amp, the same pedals, maybe there's some variety in there, but for the most part, it's at least being all recorded in the same room, right? And maybe they have a drummer that they trust that records everything in their space. And so you have this sort of not cohesiveness to the sound, but just the sameness of everything. And I think about some of my favorite records, and everything was recorded in different places. And that, from a logistical standpoint, makes sense because, you only have so much time and money to maybe record drums. So you go somewhere and mash out the drums in 2 days and get all that done. And you have great sounding drums. And then you bounce around, different places doing whatever. Maybe that was a logistical financial thing, but also it provided this sort of variance of sound to a record to where you didn't say, wow, well, geez, every single song on this record sounds the same, right? That was never a thing that I thought about when I was younger as a music fan. So you mentioned that in your, sort of synopsis of how mastering is going. And it just got me thinking, like, some of the best sounding records weren't recorded all in the same space. And some of them were, right?
Yeah.
Some of them were, but
mainly big bands.
But a majority of
3 months.
Yeah, a majority of records have different studios represented in their sound profiles.
Yeah,
for those songs.
It's the bit I love. I love that whole. You get it. You've got the running order. The client supplies the running order. You pull it all in, and you just start. Especially things. It's little technical bits get me every time. It's the little bits that I love. So things like coming to the end of a heavy song and the next song's sort of much more softer ballady type thing. How do you handle the fade out so when somebody's listening to it, it doesn't just abruptly stop a rock song and then suddenly start a ballad? It has to feel like there's a flow to the album volume and level.
That is a great question. I don't know how to answer that.
And that's the bit I love. I love those moments of just listening and thinking, well, if I actually start the fade out here and shape the fade out so it's not just a linear fade out, I can shape it and then ease, sometimes even just a slight fade in on the next track so they don't cross fade, but you feel like you've blended one. I love those bits. It's really, it's the techie side of it that.
Yeah. That's cool.
It's good.
Neil, how about you?
Yeah.
How's performing going?
It's going good. It's going good. I've figured out a really cool thing. I can have the XR18 that I use as my mixer, the digital mixer. I can actually also use that as an audio interface at the same time,
Wow.
Nice.
which I didn't know that I could do.
So it's
until
got
I
a
saw somebody
USB output that you can
Yep.
run to your
Yes.
computer and capture all that. That's cool.
Yep, while also controlling it with said computer for the live applications. So what I've been doing for the past several shows is recording our entire show and going back and using and listening and giving feedback. It gives us feedback as to our performance, which is really cool. Something that we hadn't done before, and I feel hopefully it helps us become a better band. But I feel like live bands should record themselves more and listen back and use that as feedback. And I thought that was a really cool thing that I discovered, being able to using the same computer and using my digital mixer as also an interface.
So what brand is that?
Behringer. It's a
Behringer
XR18. Yeah.
XR18. Okay, cool.
Yeah. And so it's got like 16 inputs and 9 outputs or whatever. So it's
Do you record each mic as a single track so
Uh-huh.
that you could like mix it later?
Yep.
Nice.
And you it goes all via USB right back into the computer system, and I pull up Studio One and I can set each input to a track. And so during the show I'll just hit record and it records all the tracks. Since it's a 3-hour show, it's also a 3-hour long MP3 or a 3-hour long session.
Yeah, it's all right.
But and also since I've been learning that Studio One also lets you input video, so I'm going to try and maybe do that as well, so we could add video to the audio.
Amazing.
And maybe use it.
It's
for
got some
promotional
very.
stuff.
It's very basic. In fact, I use Studio One to sort of edit this podcast video. It doesn't have any video editing capabilities besides cutting.
Mm-hmm.
So no fading or anything like that. But for something like this, and probably for you, that's fine. You can synchronize your audio and video just fine.
And
bring
then
it together.
I can make the audio. I can mix the audio
Yeah.
right in Studio One, make it all
Yeah.
sound nice, and pair up with the video. And then if I wanted to do video editing, I could always export that into a
Yeah, you go
video
to
editor.
I use DaVinci for any actual video editing after I mix this podcast episode. Yeah, and that's great, man. That's awesome. Yeah, everybody should be, recording their performances. There's no real reason not to. There's all kinds of video recorders that are inexpensive, high quality, that can be set up out of the way. Maybe a band can't afford something like an XR18. I don't know how
the
expensive they are, but
XR18 is when I bought it was in the $500 range.
Mhm.
As far as like if you're putting together a PA system for your band, that can get
It can get
expensive really
pricey.
quick.
Yeah.
It can get really expensive really quick. There are some like newer all-in-ones that a lot of people are buying, and I approve of those if you are just a solo act. Like if that's all you're ever going to be is a solo act, those are great, but you can't really build upon that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You're kind of stuck with that. You can add a little mixer to it. It's cool. You can add a second one, a second column, all in one, and you can pair them together. But beyond that level, especially if you've got like 4 or 5 members, I mean, you can still do it. To me, the better option is to get a digital mixer and to get some powered speakers to go with it, and then just build those up over time. Get a couple of 12-inch PA speakers, and then get some subs later on down the road. And those can all be expensive too. But to me, if you're using it for a band and and the venues that you play, which the venues that I play at do not have sound,
Or if they do, it's pretty basic and crappy, so you're better off bringing your own thing.
and sometimes they do have sound. So I'm like, oh goody, I'm not going to bring my speakers. I'll just use your speakers. But I'm still bringing my digital mixer.
Yeah.
Because I already have everything shaped and
Yeah.
and set, presets, and our in-ear monitors come out of there, and it's just it's
Yeah, absolutely. And
all
it's
over the
rack
setup.
mounted. So in most cases, you're just bringing a
Yep.
big box and
Yeah,
you pop
that's
the
what it
back
is, yeah.
off and you're ready to rock and roll. Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
total sense, man. It's a
Nice.
no-brainer.
Yep. And so if anybody's looking for, I do recommend the XR18. You can usually find them around the $500-$600 range, USD, of course.
Man,
Yeah.
is gig consulting a thing? Because like you should do that, man. Like you should be like a live gig consultant to help bands, what to buy and how to connect it and how to handle these different scenarios. It may seem like basic stuff, but I wouldn't know.
No,
Yeah,
nor would I.
it really
definitely sounds like
depends.
a podcast episode right there.
Yeah,
What you need to get your band up and running.
Absolutely.
yeah, physically
Unreal
and chops wise too.
Yeah.
Practicing and set lists and all. There's so much that goes into prepping a live show.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
especially if you're starting out, like knowing you guys need to have at least, if it's just you or if it's a band, it doesn't matter. You need to have at least 40 songs.
And then let's not even get into backing tracks.
Oh god, oh god. I thought about doing my own backing tracks at one point, like because sometimes I go solo. I haven't done a solo gig in a long time, but I used to think, man, wouldn't it be cool if like on my solo gigs I had some backing tracks and that instead of going to like karaoke.com or whatever and getting the karaoke tracks, what if I created those? And then I thought about it and I'm like, that's gonna take a while to do. Oh my gosh. That would take a long time. And then I thought crazy, like, okay, so then I'm going to use the MIDI inside one of these programs that while the backing track is playing, there's going to be MIDI cues that cue the lights.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the
you've
DMX
mentioned
lights.
that before. Yeah.
Fancy.
Yeah, so no, I've dropped all that idea completely.
I feel
sounds
like
like a ton of work.
I feel like that is attainable. There's got to be a solution out there that solves that problem for you.
It's
Called AI.
Yeah, that's exactly what we do.
Dude, it could be. It
No,
could be, man.
I'm serious. We use AI. We have there's a product called
Really?
Maestro DMX. I may have said it on this podcast.
That sounds familiar.
Maestro DMX, and it listens to the audio and using AI, it figures out what to do with the lights. Now you can also, I have a MIDI controller that can also control, like if I want to do like, I want to flash the lights or bright the lights. What do they call it? Or black out the lights or do a strobe effect during a certain part where I don't want to rely on the AI to figure out, hey, this should be,
You can override
strobe.
it.
I can override it. You can also choose what are called scenes. Like if you, okay, we're about to go into a soft song. So on the MIDI controller, I'll go over to like the, hey, Maestro DMX, don't be so crazy with the lights, right? Or I could tell it, hey, this is a faster song, and then I choose the scene that would be, more flashy, more exciting, more punchy with the lights. So, and it just listens to our track from our mixer, and it can hear the kick drum. It tells you, it show you the kick drum levels and stuff. It makes you dial that in. And then it just via AI figures it all out.
Super
That's
clever.
awesome, man. That's really clever. Yeah.
What
that's
about you,
that's a
Nate?
great use of AI.
Yes.
What about
So
you, Nate? What you been up to?
June is a busy month for me. Kids are just out of school. Summer camps are kind of starting up. Schedules are all over the place. So not a lot of time to do music this month because just the kids are mostly home, right? So like recording anything when the kids are home is pretty much out of the picture. But so for Father's Day weekend, we decided to go to Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
And you might ask yourself, well,
did you go to
what the heck's in
Sweetwater?
Fort Wayne, Indiana? And I'll tell you, not much except for Sweetwater. So yeah, we went to Sweetwater. That was fun.
Did you ride the slide?
Oh,
Is
heck
there a
yeah.
slide there? Oh, okay.
Heck yeah. Yeah. In fact, I took some stock video. I'm going to put together like a little thing, showing my day there at Sweetwater.
Nice.
took the family there. It was unfortunately just raining all weekend. So any other plans that we had, we wanted to go to like the zoo. They have a really great zoo in Fort Wayne called the Children's Zoo of Fort Wayne. I think that's just what it's called. But it's one of the best.
Do they have children there?
Do they? All the children are buying.
It's the children's zoo.
Wow, I walked into that one. Yeah, it's a great zoo. But it was raining, so that pretty much put a bullet through that idea. So
what did you buy at Sweetwater?
Well, so I went with the objective of listening to a pair of speakers, and I was
listening. Yeah,
I was pretty confident that I was going to like what I heard, but I didn't want to go in there saying I'm going to buy these speakers because I didn't know, right? Like, I just wanted to make sure that everything that I've heard matched up to, everything that everyone was saying on YouTube about these speakers matched up to what I was hearing when I went to listen to them. And I don't know if anyone has been to Sweetwater. Their pro audio room is densely packed with product, but is still like open and spacious, tons of rack gear. Again, I have some pictures and video that I'll put in the show notes so people can see this. But it was quite an amazing experience. So the speakers I went to listen to were the Barefoot Footprint 03s. If anyone hasn't heard of these, you've probably heard of Barefoot speakers before, and they're pretty, well known, especially amongst the producer crowd. There's a lot of mixing engineers that use them. I'd say, between like HEC, Amphion. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. Barefoot. Those are some of the top Focal. Those are some of the top speakers that a lot of high level mixing engineers utilize. A lot of producers use Barefoot speakers, and I know a lot of people that have used them in the past. So, and the price was right for a 3-way speaker. I wanted to hear it, so went, set up a little appointment. They brought some speakers out. They brought a pair out for me to listen to, and I'll tell you what. Pretty quickly I was blown away by what I heard. It was amazing what these, quite frankly, small speakers can produce. Bass elements. Now that I've had them in my room, I've been able to listen to them, really critically.
Yeah.
Listening to them in that Sweetwater room was nice. I was absolutely astounded by how low they went in that room with no sub hooked up. It was
what size cone?
Amazing. So they're 6-inch woofers with 3-inch mid-range driver and tweeter.
Okay.
Yeah. The stated specs, the stated range, I believe is 46 hertz up to 40K, which is
insane.
They
dogs can hear it.
They are significantly brighter than what I was listening to, which makes sense because my other speakers topped out at like 22K.
Yeah.
Right. Which they're, speakers, human hearing goes up to 20K. So
do you think that's like perceived?
Well, what it means is like
highness or
so roll off happens well before 20K, right? So like my previous speakers began to roll off on the high end around 15K, right? And so then by the time you got up to 20K, things were they're pretty quiet in that range, right? They just don't produce sound at a higher volume at 20K because that takes a lot of energy. Or separate drivers. So in the case of my previous speakers, they were 2-way drivers. They had a mid-range / high, tweeter and a woofer. That's all they had. And so you just, you can't produce everything with 2 drivers. So a 3-way driver separates the mid-range and the high and gives you the ability to extend that high range even further. So yeah, like now at 20K, I'm at the same volume that I am at, 1K, right? It can maintain that volume level across the entire upper range, the entire spectrum up to 20, up to 40K or up at least through 20K. but significantly brighter in my space because I wasn't used to that. So that was a huge like unveiling for me, listening to music, getting used to these speakers again, or getting used to these speakers.
Have you A/B'd your old
I
speakers?
have. I did it for a couple of hours. And the difference was huge. It was one of those like, wow, I cannot believe how long I've been mixing on these speakers. I mean, the speakers that I had previously were the Presonus Scepter S6. So they had the coaxial design with the tweeter in the woofer.
Yeah.
And they were great for imaging. The mid-range was pretty good. The low end was okay. I had a sub in my studio to help reinforce that low end, but I'm also in a pretty small room, and we can get into the whole room acoustics thing. I'd rather do that with a professional because I don't know enough to talk intelligently on that.
Out to like RLX or something.
Oh yeah, we should. If anyone's listening, we'd love to have you on sometime. But I know that I have a lot of modal issues and standing waves and whatnot in my room, and I know that my bass was not being well represented in my room. I know I had issues with it, and so my hope is that by getting these speakers, I wouldn't need to use a sub, and that is absolutely the case. I do not need a sub with these speakers. The stated range again was like 46 hertz to 40K. I was actually able to feel air moving in my room, and I could hear it down to 25 hertz from these speakers.
Yeah, which is amazing.
I mean, it was quiet, right? It's not loud, but the fact that I could detect 25 hertz on these speakers in my room, like, is mind blowing.
Yeah,
I could solidly hear elements at 36 hertz. So 10 hertz, 10 points below what the stated range of these speakers were. It's amazing. It's really, really cool. So that was my June.
Oh no! That's not your only June, is it, Nate? Something else arrived in your studio in June, didn't it?
Something else arrived in my studio. Yeah.
What else did you buy in June?
I bought a tape machine.
He bought a tape machine.
I bought a tape machine.
Oh,
old school, actual tape machine. What tape machine did you buy?
Let's see if this camera can flip over without causing too much. Let's see. There we go. It's gonna flicker for a second. I don't know if you guys can see that.
Yeah.
Can you see it?
In the background, it's got a pretty little plastic cover over the top.
Oh, what did I do?
wait, I don't see it.
You don't see it?
Wait,
We don't see it now.
okay.
We just see you now.
Show my full video to others. There we go.
There you go.
Let's change this.
No, I still don't see it.
There it is.
Oh, there it is. Okay,
There is the tape machine right here.
nice.
What's that? 2-inch?
It is a Ampex 440B. It is a 1/4-inch 2-track.
1/4-inch 2-track. There you go.
Yeah.
Fancy. And so, what's your plan here?
I just like looking at it. That's my
Okay.
plan. I'm just gonna have it set up all the time. It's gonna hold books. It's gonna be great.
Sweet. I think so. I'm waiting for the first Nate Kelms project to come across my mastering desk with the.
I can't wait to give you that mastering
It's been
project,
run. Here's
man.
the tape, Ben. To which I'll go, no, Nate, that's absolutely useless to me.
Yeah,
Nice, man.
It's gonna be cool. I'm still in the process of getting it hooked up. Just everything that's been going on in June. I just have not had time, and I don't want to like. My friends were giving me a little bit of crap because like I got my speakers and they sat in a box for 2 days before I opened them, because I don't want to just like open them and like hold them and be like, yeah, that's cool, and then I put them down for 2 days to go do something else. Like I want to be able to give them time, right? To
Yeah.
dedicate time to it, right? So
You need the same for your tape.
I need the same for the tape machine because I actually have to get it biased. I got to get it set up.
Yeah.
So it's going to take some time.
Find somewhere to
And
buy tape. Save up
I
enough
have
money
tape.
for the tape.
I've got tape.
Oh,
I've got tape.
did it come with tape?
It came with tape.
Yeah.
Jake
He's got
Fader
tape.
is the guy
a
that
generous
bought the tape
man.
from. He is a very generous man.
Yeah.
Let me turn off this widescreen nonsense. There we go. Back to normal. Yeah, this was his tape machine in his studio. So if you go back to what was that? Season 1, episode 12
Yeah, I think
was
so.
the Jake Fader tape episode. He mentioned it. So he got another tape machine. He moved on, and this one was gathering some dust. So I was like, let me take that off your hands for you.
Very nice.
And so yeah, we worked something out, and it is now in my studio. So I am super excited to get it fired up and run some mixes through it, just test it out, and then send some stuff over to you, Ben.
Yeah.
And to that matter, if there's anyone out there that wants to have their song run through a tape machine, hit me up.
Films. Yeah.
Let me know. I'd be more than happy to work something out with you, and we can run your song through tape machine and see what it does for you. And then if your song needs mastering, I know a guy right over here.
Or you could find a good one on the internet.
I'm sure you have a website. We can find you on the internet, right, Ben?
You can find me on the internet. Yes, you can.
We'll
I've got 2 other questions though, Nate. You said you went to Sweetwater and listened to. What did you listen to? What did you put through them?
So my go-to for low end is pretty much anything from Phineas or Billie Eilish.
Oh, absolutely.
Like that
is,
and not only that, but just like I love that music. I love what Phineas does. I love what he creates for his sister Billie. So not only is it just a pleasure to listen to, it's some of my favorite music. It's an awesome test for low end and distortion and consistency. So
the mastering on that album is just unbelievable.
So that's funny that you say the mastering, because I listen to the production. I'm just like, this is so unreal. Like I try to like break apart these elements in my head, like my own sort of AI, like separating these elements and like analyzing these things. And yes, that's not fun all the time because I just want to be in listening mode. So I try my best to just be a listener and enjoy it and not think about it. But when I do think about it, man, I'm in there just like, what did he use to make that sound and its relationship to everything else, and the way that the bass is like so nice and cleanly separated from other things. It's not cloudy, it's not muddy, it's not, incoherent, it's well defined. It's so good.
Yeah.
So freaking good.
Great test for speakers as well.
It's a great test
every frequency you can imagine.
Yeah, it's all over the place. So yeah, that was a lot of what I listened to. I listened to some of my old mixes, not old mixes, but previous mixes on there. And I didn't hate them. I'll tell you that. I didn't hate my previous mixes on these speakers.
Nice.
There were some issues that jumped out, and that's to be expected, right? Because I know that these were mixes from a couple of years ago in some cases. So I'm a better mixer now than I was then. And I have better speakers now.
You can hear more.
Then I can hear more and I can identify those issues. So I knew that there were things that were going to, I wasn't going to be happy with, but I didn't hate them. I didn't say, oh my God, this is the worst thing ever. Turn it off immediately. Right. I actually, enjoyed listening to some of my old mixes on these speakers, both at Sweetwater and here in my studio. So, I guess I'm not a terrible mixer, is what I walked away from that experience with. I was doing something right.
That is very true, my friend. That is very true.
Yeah, that was my June. Went to Sweetwater, picked up some new speakers, new tape machine. My room is kind of in disarray. When I flip my cam, it's messy as heck. Working on cleaning that up, moving some things around. I'm actually selling off some old gear. The new speakers and the new tape machine inspired me to get rid of some stuff because I am one to hang on to things. And I'm like, I'm hanging on to my very first pair of speakers, my Yamaha HS5s. I just sold them. I'm like, I haven't turned this thing on in years. Why are they still here? Let's move them. Let's get rid of them. So I sold those.
How are you doing that? Like with reverb or something? Or
no, you know what? I actually use Sweetwater Gear Exchange.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, they started their own gear exchange.
Oh,
their
that's
own
right, they
sort of
did.
reverb-ish thing. I like it a lot better than reverb, mainly because there's a lot less noise on there with stuff. And also with some of the lower cost items, you turn that stuff directly into Sweetwater gift cards, and there's 0 seller fees. So I don't have to pay 7.5% on my sale. It's 100% of the sale goes into a gift card, which I can then use. Because let's be real, the money I was going to make on something, I was just going to go spend it at Sweetwater anyways. So,
And they know that.
and they know that. So they did the right thing by just, making this sort of circle of commerce that just goes right back to them. And why not? So yeah, Sweetwater Gear Exchange is awesome. I use them exclusively pretty much now. I haven't listed any of this stuff on Reverb because I just feel like it gets lost in the noise. I've listed stuff on Reverb in the past, and it sits there for weeks and weeks and weeks until I reduce the price to something stupid just to get it sold. And that doesn't happen with Gear Exchange. Most stuff is sold in a couple of days. So it's great.
Nice.
So Sweetwater, if you're listening, would love to have you as a sponsor. Would love to chat with you.
Yeah.
About your Gear Exchange stuff. So yeah,
That'd
Sweetwater,
be fun.
call me. That'd be
That'd be
pretty
good.
sweet.
Yeah. Nice.
I would like to learn more. Come on,
I
Sweetwater.
think we all would love to learn
We'd
more.
all-
But
we'd
yeah,
all
go
like
check
to
out
learn
Gear
more.
Exchange for selling your stuff. It's great. Fantastic. I think that's all the time we've got.
Yeah. I think we're gonna have to wrap up.
We're gonna have to wrap it up here.
We just need the buy outro now.
God,
and
I
we
have
can't-
not-
we can't.
No, we can't do
I
that.
can't absolutely plagiarize the best podcast on the internet.
No, we can't. And I don't feel like getting caught up in litigation.
No.
Not
They've all
that they,
got big
not that
budgets.
they would. They got too much other stuff going on.
They probably don't care.
We're not starting a mobile platform.
We could probably just wrap this up and say we will be back with another episode. We'll have a
Yeah.
guest.
We'll be back next month with another guest. Don't know
Ask
who it
all
is
the
yet.
questions.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do this by the seat of our pants, so
Very much so.
yeah.
Best way to do it.
But we will be back next month, and we look forward to having you again here next month for another episode
Absolutely.
of Sound Discussion. Have a great summer, everybody. Go get some sunshine. Get out of your studios for at least a little bit, and then get back in there and make some music.
Peace out, home slices.
Hi, thanks for listening to this episode of Sound Discussion. You can find out more about today's episode by checking the description area here in YouTube or by going to our website, sounddiscussionpodcast.com. While you're there, subscribe to our mailing list so you can be kept up to date on new episodes, updates from the team, and additional content only available to newsletter subscribers. And as always, please leave a comment, like, and subscribe here on YouTube and wherever you listen to podcasts. Thank you so much for taking the time today to sit in on our conversation, and we can't wait to have you back next month for another episode of Sound Discussion.
So this is exactly what's needed.
This is exactly what this podcast is about. It's a
oh my
bunch of
goodness.
nonsense.